Hi Flosstube, I'm Sarah, Cross Stitch Sarah, here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel all about cross stitch, and today is Sunday the 17th, let me just check, 17th of August 2025, and this is WIP, no it's not WIP, it's Flosstube number 26, but it is a WIP, it's a WIP parade. So I'm going to show you all of my works in progress today and give you a few statistics about how many I've got and where they're at and so on, and yeah, just show you everything I've got. I started my Flosstube in February 2024, so I did a WIP parade this year in February 2025, so I thought my mid-year, 6 months from then, is August, so I would come back to you and do a kind of my mid-year WIP parade, see where some of those things are at. Some of those things have not been worked on in the last 6 months. Some of them have, and obviously I've added more WIPs and yeah, so I'm going to show you them all. So welcome back if you're a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you. If you're new here, I do hope you like seeing the WIPs that I've got and that you'll stick around and maybe subscribe and watch my future videos. I'll tell you a quick little bit about me in case you've searched WIP Parade on YouTube and just come across me and not watched me before. I'm Sarah, as I said, I'm 52, I'm married to Aaron, I live in a lovely little village in the Derbyshire Peak District, have a very beautiful view, I'll pop a picture in here. I have one son, Morgan, who's 26, married to the lovely Bethany. Again, if you've been here before, you know all about Bethany. She's my daughter-in-law who also cross stitches, and she is ducks and crosses here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. If you have any questions at the end of this, or partway through even, about any of my WIPs, about anything I've said, about anything I haven't said, about me in general, anything at all, please leave me a comment, or you can reach me on my email, which will be in the box, the description box, or message me on Instagram, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, let's get on with it. I will try and tell you when I started each thing, what I'm stitching it on, and what threads I'm using. And I'm probably not going to say for every single one, but the ones that you will have seen in the WIP parade in February, if they have been worked on since February, I'll pop a picture up and then you can see the difference between February's WIP parade and this WIP parade. Like I say, some of them haven't. Let me have a look. I've got notes here that tell me. So I've not worked on 18 WIPs since February. So 18 of these that you saw in the February WIP parade, if you watched that one, haven't changed at all. 14 of them have been worked on, and then all the others have either been started after February 25 or are my monthly hair, excuse me, my monthly hair WIPs. So in my February 2025 WIP parade, I had 45 WIPs. Since then, I've had 1 UFO, 19 new starts, and 11 finishes, which should add up to 52. There are 52 WIPs here. My oldest WIP is from 2020. I have 1 WIP from 2020, 1 from 2021, 2 from 2022, 7 from 2023, 23 from 2024, and 18 from 2025 so far. It's only August, right? So 52 WIPs. So I'm going to show you them all today. Some of them are in their Q-snaps or nudge hoops, but you'll be able to see the whole WIP so far. If I've needed to, there might be some that when I get to, I need to take one of the clamps off a Q-snap so you can see the whole thing. And I haven't ironed anything. I'm not sorry about that. I'll put a picture in here of why I haven't ironed anything. All of these WIPs, bar a handful, are on my ironing board. So nothing's getting ironed. So I will refer to the notes, which will be to the side of me once we get going. But basically, that tells me what they're stitched on, what threads I've used, and when they were started. So, seeing as there's 52, we better get going, right? So in first WIP, I'm not going to count them. There are 52. I'm not going to say this is the 7th WIP, but we'll go with this is the first one. And this was a secret stitch along by Lynette. You bought the kit, which gave you the fabric and the threads, and then the charts were released in a Facebook group. That's what it will look like when it's complete. I think it was about 10 parts. I don't know what part I'm up to. I am still following it in parts. Let me get my board. But this is where I'm at. Actually, if I just clip that on, it won't be in my face. I mean, the colours are just beautiful. So yeah, so the pot's done, and then the flowers on this side, and obviously there's more flowers to come up here and right the way over, so there's still quite a bit to do, to be honest. The colours are just gorgeous. So this hasn't been worked on this year. This is on the kit fabric, which is 27 count Linda Even Weave by Zweigar, and it uses I'm using the kit threads. I don't know what brand they are. So that's that. Number 1 down. So I've got a box down there on the floor that I'm basically throwing all of these into. Next is Country Cottage. I call it Country Cottage Sampler. The design is by Moira Blackburn, and it's kitted by Bothy Threads. It will look like that. I swapped out the kit Ada for 32 count linen by Zweigar in cream, and I'm using the kit threads. Oh, I've got a hanging thread there. The kit threads. I started this one on the 24th of June 2021. So this is lovely. That house, I think you used 2 strands, like you blended 2 strands of thread together to get the sort of bricks. It looks super pretty. Yeah. Again, if it's been worked on, I think it has, this one has been worked on, you'll have seen a picture of where it was before. Next, hasn't been worked on for definite, because, well, this is Bothy Threads as well. This is a Rendell design, and this is called Moo. I call her Marigold. And I haven't worked on this because that is a lot of brown, so it's very boring. And I find the Bothy Threads charts, I don't know, my brain just can't compute them. I find them when they're, I mean, that's not full coverage per se, but the cow is full coverage. And I just find that their charts are not easy to follow. They're black and white. I prefer colour. Yeah, I've emailed them. They won't do a colour chart and they won't do a PDF. So I've just got to suck it up, basically. But that's where she is. She's got an eye and an ear, and that's about it. I think that's the very top. But yeah. So she was started on the 27th of March 2022, and I'm stitching her on all the kit materials, which is 14 count Ada with the speckles on, and the kit threads, which I think are Madeira. I think they use Madeira threads at Bothy. Next is Romeo and Juliet. Started Romeo and Juliet on the 1st of September 2022. This is what it will look like. It's not a very good picture, I'm afraid, but. And I am stitching mine on the called for linen, which is by Permin, and it's 32 count, and it's, the colour is called Halloween. Let's pull that up a bit. And I'm using the DMC, called for DMC. Oh, it looks really lovely. The fabric is quite bright. It's quite a dark, yeah, quite a dark orange, but quite bright. But the colours of the DMC look really good on it. So this top bit in the arch, that's everything is stitched in there. It's just filling now, so it's a really good one to pull out when you're watching football. Then you don't have to frog, which happened. So that's Romeo and Juliet. Next is Polish Band Sampler. This is by Yasmin of Yasmin's Made with Love. And I started mine on the 1st of January 2023. There's only 5 colours in this, 2 red, 2 blue and a black. So I'm stitching mine on 32 count Zweigar linen in platinum. It's one of my sort of favourite neutrals, really. And this is where I'm at. So all that top bit is done with the roses. They're really lovely. And then the alphabet is, there's Polish alphabets and English alphabets and numbers and all sorts, so it's all a real mixture. But the colours look really good together. So I already said when I started that. Yeah, so that's Polish band sampler. Next is Reaching Skyward by Modern Folk Embroidery. That was started on the 11th of January 2023. So Jacob designed kind of 2 designs. Let's see if I can put them together. So you can see, for example, one's got swans, one's got deer up here. There was various designs you could choose your own for the centre motif. So as you can see, there's lots of highlighting on these. I am doing a mixture of motifs from both of them, and I'm not stitching the whole thing. So I am, get one of them. I'm only stitching to sort of the bottom of the fireplace, as I call it here. So I will bring this border down and then underneath and round so that it sort of looks good. But yeah, I'm only doing the sort of top bit. This is also on Zweigart 32 count linen in platinum, and I'm using DMC 924 in the blue and 3045, which is the brown, which is sort of the called for. Jacob doesn't really do called for in some of his charts. It's more about you can do what you like, but it was, I think these were the suggested colours. Let me just bring that in. So yeah, it's looking really good. And that's that. Okay. Next is Words to Live By, Love, which is by Heartstring Samplery. And it is the verse from Corinthians in the Bible that starts with love is patient, love is kind. And I started this on the 19th of April 2023. So mine looks a bit different because I'm stitching mine on, it is the called for linen, which is 32 count Weeks Dye Works Cocoa. This is the old Weeks, so it's not the Zweigart base, but I'm finding it okay. And then the called for thread is Weeks Dye Works Coal, which is this sort of dark grey colour. But I decided that all the words love I was going to do in a red, and I chose Weeks Dye Works Candy Apple Red. Also, in between the words where the sort of sentence ends, they did like 1 stitch, but I've made mine like 3 stitches, so they look like tiny little hearts, and I've done those in the red as well. So that is, I should have ironed this one, sorry. That is where I'm at with that. Still quite a long way to go. It's quite a big chart, to be honest, but it is lovely. Yeah, that is, she's just brought out a new one. I think it's Words to Live By Justice, I think. So yeah, she might have other ones as well, I'm not sure. Next is Flirtation by Long Dog Samplers, and this is one of the peccadillos, so it's one of the smaller ones. I started mine on the 20th of May 2023, and I started it at one of the Floss Friends retreats with Bethany. She started the same one? Or did she start a different peccadillo? Oh, that's terrible. I should know that. Same one, I think, but we're doing them on different fabrics in different colours. So I'm stitching mine on. Is that platinum as well? Okay, so I'm doing mine on 36 count Zweigart linen in platinum, and I'm using a sulky thread number 1307, and it's pink. I love me a bit of pink. So yeah, I've got all that top bit done. Yeah, looking good. Next is Enchanted Forest by Owl Forest Embroidery, and this is a kit from them. I bought way back before the Russia-Ukraine war, when we could just easily buy from Russia. And it comes with all the owl forest dyed threads and the fabric that you need. And I started mine on the 23rd of September 2023 using the kit fabric and threads. And I have got a tiny little bit done. But each little motif is like a little finish, like a little mini finish, which is quite nice. I have sewn some extra linen on the side, both sides, because although there is enough border, it is a little bit tight and you can't get it in a Q-snap. So I just stitch on a bit of extra to the side. So that's where that one's at. It's quite big, or will be quite big. That's the where my fingers are is the actual fabric size. So yeah, quite a way to go on that. Next is the Little Penguin, and this is by Crochet Go-Go. This one I started on the 18th of November 2023, and I'm stitching on Zweigart Murano even weave, 32 count even weave in taupe, and I'm using mostly the called for DMC. So where I didn't have the exact green, I've used the next green along type of thing. And I have made a bit of a change to mine. So if you look on his scarf, there's like sort of snowflakes in the scarf, and I've just done my scarf plain. The other thing that I'm going to change is it actually says Penguin love hot cocoa. So I'm going to move the word love in a little bit towards penguin so that I can fit an S on the end. So it actually says Penguin loves hot cocoa. But the colours are really lovely. He's got such a cute little face with his earmuffs on. Okay, next is Victorian sampler. So you've seen this on my last Flosstube. It's from this book. You can get it as a kit on the secondary market like eBay and so on, an anchor kit, and there's another brand as well. But the actual design on the front of this book is the one that I'm stitching. And in the book, the threads are Madeira threads, and I did do a DMC conversion myself because it's not a great conversion. So I had stitched all of the top bit and all of the letters up to H, A to H, in the blue that I'd converted, if you like, to DMC from the Madeira, and I really didn't like it. So this was a WIP Go call for this month, and literally I unpicked all the letters A to H, bought the anchor thread that the kit uses, and restitched it. So I've restitched all those letters and an L. And this is being stitched. This was started on the 29th of December 2023. It's on 32 count linen by Northumberland Sampler House, who are on Etsy. And the colour is Sandstone. And I'm using my DMC conversion from the Madeira in the book, plus this anchor blue, which was the kit anchor colour. Okay. Next is a big one. It is Saga by Long Dog Samplers. This is a giant chart, and I'm doing mine on 32 count Permin linen in pink sand, which means it's a massive piece of fabric. I started this on the 1st of January 2024, so we're in 2024 now. I'm using two DMC pinks or pinkish colours, DMC 3685 and 3687. And this is where I'm at. Now, that's not very much considering there's like, I don't know, 100 and something thousand stitches. I was stitching on it every Sunday and doing hashtag Saga Sundays. And then I've just got out of the habit of that in the last few months, so I need to kind of get back to that really. It's very pretty. So yeah, I'm doing all the arches and the sort of building work in the darker pink, and then everything inside the arches in the lighter pink. So that is Saga. Okay, next is Green Pastures, which is another Rendale Designs kit by Bothy Threads. And this one hasn't really been worked on since you last saw it. Started it on the 8th of February 2024 using the kit fabric and, does it say on here? No, kit fabric and thread. It's a printed fabric. I'll show you in a sec. This is what it will look like. And I, as you know, love me a sheep if you've been here before. And although Bothy Threads are in the Lake District in Cumbria, that is probably a Cumbrian Lake District view. That equally could be a Derbyshire Peak District view. With a dry stone wall, lots of sheep, a pheasant, we get a pheasants, and there's sheep just beyond. So yeah, that could easily be my view. And I love it, but again, it's the old black and white chart issue. That's why I haven't worked on it. This is the gorgeous fabric. So all of this is printed. And then that is my measly little start on one of the sheep and a bit of the flowers or something like that in the middle. And then I just gave up. I do want to finish it and I will get back to it, but I just find the chart, I don't know what it is in my brain. But yeah, that's where that's at. Okay, With Love is next. This is a design by Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery, and it was for Valentine's, and it was a collaboration with Evertote and Roxy Flosco Co. And you bought a box, and it came with the chart, the threads, so Roxy Flosco threads, Roxy Flosco fabric. Then there was other little bits and pieces, a needle minder, or trims to finish things off, because that's the main chart. But then there were also these 3 bonus charts. So there's trims to finish those into little pillows. So they're gorgeous, really gorgeous designs. Now, I have put this on my Instagram recently. This is my WIP Go, second WIP Go number for August. And I had got part way down from the top. I'd started at the top and I'd got to sort of here. Haven't done the insides of these sort of triangle bits to make the top of the heart. And when I pulled it out to work on it for WIP Go, I was just really not feeling it at all. I don't know if I even love it as much as I did. For some reason, I had swapped out the blue and the darker red threads that were Roxy Flosco for a DMC, which I don't think looked nice. So the whole thing was just, I was just like, oh, I don't want to work on it. But this bit at the bottom with the deer and the little heart plant, I love. So I've decided to abandon what I was doing. And then further down on the linen, I've just started this bit at the bottom using all the Roxy Flosco threads. The linen is 32 count and it's called Porcelain, and the threads are, the light pink is Oink, the darker pink is Raspberry Purse, and the blue is Honeymoon. So that was where I was at. And the dark red and the blue are DMC. That was the needle minder we got with the box. And then I just started further down the linen to do that little box. And I love it. So I don't know how far in I am on that, just that one bit. But it's lovely. And this one was started on the 14th of February 2024. It was a Valentine's Day start. So yeah, change to that one, but there we are. Okay. Next is something that I have decided to also not work on completely, but I'm showing it because it technically is a WIP, because I need to get it to a further point so that I can finish it as it is. And it is a sampler garden by Modern Folk Embroidery. Bit of a theme here, isn't there? Quite a fan. So I started this on the 7th of April 2024 using 32 count Zweigart Murano even weaving platinum with the called for DMC. I think it's the fabric. Might be the design. I don't know, but I don't like it. I don't want to stitch on it at all. So what I'm going to do is, let me show you it. I'm going to finish this corner. Oh, I have got hanging threads. I'm going to finish this corner so that it can be a standalone finish. But that probably won't be till next year. I didn't want to just completely abandon it there and chuck it in the bin kind of thing. Because if I kind of just bring, if I show you this. If I bring, you know, sort of finish this triangle, if you like, then it could be finished as it is somehow. So that's my thought process with that. Yeah. I think it's the fabric I don't like. I don't know. Okay. Next is Poisonous Plants. This is by the Witchy Stitcher. I started this on the 10th of April 2024 on 32 count Zweigart Murano even weave in slate, and I'm using the called for DMC. And it looks like this. I did work on this. I think this was WIP Go, called for WIP Go earlier in the year, so it has been worked on since you last saw it, and it's really nice. What have we got so far? Moonflower, hemlock and foxglove. We get foxgloves in the garden. That box is getting full now. Next is Be Creative. This was a cotton and twine box. Design was by Little Dove Designs. Be Creative. And this was a cotton and twine box in April 2024. I started it in May, 8th of May 2024, using the kit fabric and threads. It's a 32 count linen and DMC threads. And I bought this box with my own money. That was before Historical Sampler were gifting me the cotton and twine boxes. It's such a gorgeous design. The colours are beautiful. And this is where I'm at. I have worked on this since February, so it has had some progress. And it looks very pretty. The linen is quite like platinum. I don't know if it is, but it's very platinum-esque. And like I say, the threads are DMC and they just look beautiful. I think you can buy this design on Little Dove Designs website now as well. You probably have been able to for a while. And that is that. Next is Seaside Tiny Town by Heart in Hand, which looks like this. And I started mine on the 2nd of June 2024, and I'm stitching it on 32 count Zweigart linen in beautiful beige. That's not true. It's mushroom or light mocha, not beautiful beige. And using just threads from my stash. So I have just picked threads that kind of look like the colours on the front of the pattern. Some of them are DMC, some of them are Anchor. I've just picked what I think is okay. That's probably about halfway across, would we say? Let's have a look. Yeah, so I've got to sort of just about here, so about halfway. You think they're not very big, and they're not very big. But there does seem to be quite a bit of stitching in them. So yeah, that's where that is at right now. Next is Spring Ring. This is a gorgeous little design. So really it's tiny, it should be finished. And this is by Posy, I think it is the sort of design brand. Alicia Paulson is the name of the designer. It's so pretty. This is not a very good printout. The colours are a bit nicer than that. It looks a little bit washed out on there. And this is where I'm at. This I started 13th of June 2024 on Zygot, 32 count Zygot Murano even weave in slate. That's not slate blue, sorry. Using the called for DMC threads. So I've got my little sheep on this hill and some of the flowers. And it's just really tiny. I just need to, yeah. I just had this, I don't usually stitch in a hoop, but I had this hoop in my stash that I'd bought to use as a finishing hoop. And it, hopefully, if the design is centred well enough, it can stay in this hoop when it's finished. That's Spring Ring. Then we have La Finestra del Tempo, which are Windows of Time by Crochet Gogo. These come in sets of 4. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, so on and so on. And I started this one on the 1st of July 2024, but I'd started the whole series before that with Rosie of Rosie X stitches, and we were going to do them one a month before the month so that they were ready to display in the month. And I think I did that for 6 months. So I think we started them, I think it was November 23, with a view to having January done before January and so on. And I think I did keep up to the June of 2024 and then started this on the 1st of July, hoping to get it done in July. Didn't. Here we are. So the July one is this one here, with the sunflowers. And I am here with mine. So this is on 32 count, so I got Murano even weave in light taupe, as they all are, and I'm using the called for DMC. I think on a couple of them I've changed, I don't think I've changed thread colours, but I've changed the odd motif here and there, but so far this one is as charted. You'll see another one of those because I randomly started the October one. Next is Strawberry from the Berry Basket collection by Hands On Design. And that is this. And I started that on the 1st of July 2024 as well, apparently. This was when Michelle from Mama Loves UGB did the first Stitch Strawberries for Wimbledon SAL. This is on the called for 32 count Zygot raw linen and the called for, using the called for DMC. And again, not a very big chart, still not finished. So you stitch it obviously flat and then you make it up into, it comes with a template and all the instructions of how to finish it into a strawberry. The colours are gorgeous. And these little stitches, these little individual stitches are, well, they're on the, some of them are on the chart as Smyrna crosses. Some of them are on there as just ordinary cross stitch, but on the actual picture, they are Smyrnas. So that's what I've done. So I don't know if you can see that. But yeah. Is that. Then we have, oh, Christmas Cat. I haven't stitched on Christmas Cat for ages. I was doing Barbara Anna Wednesdays with Stitchy Sally and all the other Barbara Anna Wednesday ladies, and yeah, completely got out of the habit of doing that as well. But this is Christmas Cat by Barbara Anna Designs. I love her. I like a lot of Barbara Anna Designs charts. Bethany, however, if you've been in before, you know she hates them. So she will inherit all my cross stitch apparently, quite happily, but no Barbara Anna cats. I started this with a lady on Instagram who is Rebecca, I believe, Lofty Makes. She finished hers. Yeah. This is mine. Started on the 27th of July for Christmas in July. No, 21st of July for Christmas in July. A bit late in the month that was, wasn't it? 2024. On 32 count Zygot Murano even weave in Basalt Splash with the called for DMC. Oh, look at her. Colours are just stunning. It looks lovely on that fabric as well, I think. Yeah. Maybe I'll try and finish that for Christmas. Next is Big Stitch Big Tree. So I went to Big Stitch 2024, and this is where I started this on the 27th of July 2024. This was a the sort of retreat exclusive design by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. As you can see, he signed my chart. He's lovely. Really, really nice. And what he doesn't know about an antique sampler just isn't worth knowing, to be honest. But yeah, this was his lovely design for the retreat. And I am here with mine. I'm stitching mine on 32 count Northumberland Sampler House linen in biscuit. And I'm using a Valdani stranded cotton in a red called Proud Turkey. It's one of my favourite reds threads. And I've just got the top bit done. So in an ideal world, I would like to have this finished by Big Stitch 2026, which is at the end of June next year. I do have a ticket. I'm going with Bethany and lots of other friends. But I would like to have this finished by then. I am working on the Quacker, which you'll see further down the list, which I also am on track to finish that for Big Stitch next year. But I really like to get this one finished, and another one that I started there as well, or bought there. I don't think I started it there, but yeah. No, I didn't. I bought the chart there and the threads. I'll tell you about that when we get there. But yeah, it would be really good to get it finished before then. That's that. This linen is lovely. Northumberland Sampler House linens are really gorgeous if you haven't had any before. Next is Night Riders by Love Poppet. Don't have a picture for this, so I will put a cover photo in here. It hasn't been worked on since February, so you won't get another photo. I started it on the 29th of August 2024 using kit fabric and threads that were very kindly gifted to me by Claire of Love Poppet. She dyed the fabric herself. It's an even weave, a 32 count even weave, and the threads are DMC, and she gifted me the kit, the threads and the fabric and the charts, and I didn't even finish part one, but I love it. So if you obviously you've just seen the picture, this sort of lace design moon comes all the way round, and then there's the houses. Oh, it's so beautiful. Loads of people have finished it. Shell of Cheesecake and Cross Stitch, she finished hers and it looks amazing. So yeah, I do need to get back to that. Said I wasn't going to say that, but I need to get back to all of them, don't I really? Okay. Here's the next La Fenestra del Tempo. This was started on the 1st of October because I went on a retreat for a week, and I just thought, well, if I can get this October one done in October, at least then I'm back in the right months kind of thing. Anyway, that didn't pan out. It's on the same even weave, 32 count Murano even weave in light taupe as all the others, with the called for DMC, and October is this one here. And this is mine. So I did get it started, but yeah, not much more around. Then we have Dracula. This is by Stitching Book Club on Etsy. Started on the 30th of October 2024 on, I think this was the called for 32 count Zweigart linen in light ash grey, and I'm using the called for DMC. Don't have a cover photo. We'll show you a cover photo. It was a stitch along. It's long since finished. That's what it will look like, and this is where I am at. I love this design. I stitched on it when I was in Whitby in July. So yeah. Beautiful Grime Guard by Pauline. Soapy bags. I've got quite a pile now on top of the box. Then we have Winter Wonderland. Now this is a chart by Sammy of the Old Barn Stitching Co. She's also Little Loop Stitching, that's her website, and she has got an Instagram with that as well. And this was the retreat exclusive chart for November 24. Yes, started on the 10th of November 2024. Bethany and I both started this at the retreat. We both bought fabric from Cross Stitch Bunny, who was vending at the retreat, and we both started it. Bethany's finished hers ages ago. This is a really poor start. I even had to look at the fabric and my stitching to see which way up it went earlier. So Bethany did hers on a similar colour fabric, but it was an Ada, and mine's an even weave, I think. Yeah, so it's a hand-dyed even weave by Cross Stitch Bunny, so it doesn't have a name. And I'm using the kit threads, which are, I think there's some, oh, I can look, can't I? It'll tell me on here. Weeks Dye Works, Classic Colour Works, Gentle Art, and there is a DMC conversion, but we got the threads as part of like a little kit, partial kit. That is it. That's terrible, isn't it? But that's where I'm at. It doesn't show very well on camera either. Well, it doesn't to me. It does show, the colours of the threads do show up much better on the fabric in real life than how it looks to me anyway on the camera. Okay. Well, 2 pages of notes down. Next is a chart that I bought at Big Stitch. So if you've been here before, you know this story, but I'll just tell you briefly. So Jacob had this chart on his stand to buy, and I absolutely loved it immediately that I saw it. And I couldn't find any thread numbers in it, so I went back to him and I said, what threads did you use to stitch that? But that isn't a stitched sample, that's just a mock-up. So he didn't have any numbers. So that is what I absolutely love about it, are the colours. So I went round to the vendors, and one of whom was Letitia of Corey's Little Shop. And I said, here's this chart, I want to stitch it in these colours, can you help me find some threads? And she was brilliant. Found me the perfect coloured threads, Weeks Dye Works, Classic Colour Works. So I'm doing it in these colours. I am stitching it without any of the letters to start with, and then I'm going to see at the end what I think. So I didn't choose a colour for the letters, but it's Weeks Dye Works Terracotta, Glacial, Melt, Michael's Navy, and Classic Colour Works English Ivy are the colours that I've used. If you didn't get that, or you want to know, just message me if you want to know. And I wasn't, if I was too quick. So this one's still in the Q-snap, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. And this is on, so I started this 15th of December 2024. It was a stitch along that was hosted by the Sunshine Stitchers, and they broke it down into parts. I haven't done those parts, but they broke it down into parts so that we would be finished by this December. Not sure mine will be. Mine is on 32 count, so I got linen in platinum with the threads that I just told you. Oh, it's so lovely. So lovely. So, yeah. So that's another one I'd really like to have finished in an ideal world before Big Stitch next year, because I bought the chart at Big Stitch, and yeah, it's a lot of plans, isn't it? Cat Lovers is next by Jardin Privé. So Sherry has stitched this, and I think she made it into a cushion, and she changed all the sort of, well, they're actually a brown, I think, but the black looking cats to different colour cats so that they represented cats that she had owned or does own. And I just really loved it. So Bethany and I both bought the chart at, when did I start this? December, but it must have been at one of the Floss Friends retreats. Yes, one of the Floss Friends retreats, bought from Talking Dog Stitchery. And Bethany and I decided to do a start along I'm not calling it a stitch along anymore because we start things and she's always either finishes or gets ahead. So we both started it. Well, I started mine on the 24th of December 2024, so on Christmas Eve. I think Bethany started hers a couple of days later. Mine is on 32 count, so I got linen in platinum again. And I'm using the cord for DMC. And this is where mine's at. Bethany is further on than me. And this cat is too far this way by a stitch or 2 stitches, but I wasn't unpicking that. Not a chance. So it's in the wrong place, and that is that. That is where it's staying. But yeah, the colours are really pretty. There we go. Right, we're putting them in a different, well, in a bag now. The box is full. Next is one of my monthly hares. So I have kept up. So I have completed 7 hares, January to July. And this is the August one that I'm going to, well, the one I'm going to do for August, which is hare and sunflowers. I'm not doing it on the blue fabric. I'm doing mine all on the same fabric, which is, where are we? 32 counts. So I got Murano even weave in Vintage Country Mocha, and I'm using called for DMC for pretty much all of them. I think I changed the January one slightly, but yeah, pretty much anyway. So that is my start because I haven't done any on it in August yet. I started all 12 as a 12 in 12 challenge on New Year's Eve, December the 31st, 2024. So from 12 o'clock lunchtime to 12 o'clock midnight, I started 1 per hour just to get a tiny little start on it. So then every month it was already ready to go. This, normally I would start at the top, but because it was a bit more difficult with this one, I started at the bottom. So just got one of those tiny little sunflowers in. So some of them are started at the bottom and some I started at the top. Yeah. So then the next few charts are also the hares that were also started on the 31st of December 2024. Just check that I've said all that right. Yeah, so they're all on the same fabric. So that will be August. September, my September is hare and thistles. These are all by Wonderland Stitches. And I started the thistles at the top. One little thistle. Then October will be hare and pumpkins, which I started at the bottom. Oh, they're just so lovely. She's got loads of these designs. Most of them I either want to stitch or will stitch. Just one little pumpkin at the bottom for October. November, actually is a November one according to that, hare and acorns. Gorgeous like autumnal colours on there. This one is that the top or the bottom? Top. Sorry. That's there's acorns at the top and the bottom, but that's the top for acorn. This is the thing. This was started like 8 months ago. So yeah. And then the December one, or the one I'm doing for December, which is the December one according to this, is hare and mistletoe. And I started at the bottom on this one with a little bit of mistletoe. So yeah, they're all the ones that are left to do. So I have kept up. If you've been here and watched my other videos, my regular Flosstubes, you know that the last, what, July, June, May and April, I think the last 4, I've literally like finished them like on the last day of the month. I've really left them until the end of the month. So I really, and every month I say, I really shouldn't do that. I really need to get them done within the month, a bit sooner in the month, you know, so that they're definitely done. And the last 4 months I've not done that at all. So we'll see how we go with this one. Next is The Great Outdoors by Stitching Cabin. I need to take the cue snap off this one. I don't have a printout of the cover photo, so I will put a picture in here of what it will look like, because all parts have now been released. It was a stitch along that started on the 1st of January 2025. We're in 2025. And I'm stitching mine on 32 count Permin linen in beautiful beige. I stitched the Autumn Walks band sampler, which was a SAL a couple of years ago by Stitching Cabin, and I stitched it on the same fabric, so I'm doing this the same. I'm using the called for DMC pretty much, and there's some Krynic, but I'm using DMC Diamond instead because it's nicer. I don't mind Krynic, but the Krynic that she suggested was a weird Krynic, and it was just not working for me. I have changed my fox colours. They were meant to be sort of a pale brown, so I copied Kim at Stitchy Squirrels and Charlie at Charlie Feathers and used 3826, DMC 3826. So I think this is parts 1, 2 and 3, maybe 4. I'm very behind. It's finished now and there's 8 parts. And then there is a row with some owls on, and Charlie has used a different colour for their feet and beaks, and I'm going to copy that as well, which will be DMC 3821. Otherwise, it's the called for DMC. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. And there's more foxes. There's another strip with little foxes, baby foxes, I guess. And I will use that same orangey fox colour, 3826, for those as well. Oh, it's so lovely. Need to get back to it. Right, better not lose that needle minder. Let's ledge that on there. So we're getting there. We're in 2025 now. Where are we? This was my birthday start this year, and this is by Mirabilia, and it is called Pretty to Think So. It's not a great photo, but it is such a gorgeous, gorgeous design. As soon as it came out, I was like, I love that. I have to have it. And mine is being stitched on the called for 32 count Permin linen in prairie grain, and I'm using the called for DMC threads. I think there's a Karen water lilies, and then there's some beads, I think. And I started it on the 24th of January 2025, my birthday. And it hasn't had any work since. Oh, but look at her face. So the fabric is like that. Yeah. The colours are just gorgeous already. Need to get back to this. Yeah, love that. Okay. Next was a birthday start, not on her birthday, but a birthday start for Charlie of Charlie Feathers, Stitches with Charlie Feathers. Don't have a cover photo for this either, so I'll pop a picture in here of what it will look like. This is Miss Teapot by Barbara Anna Designs, another one that Bethany will love. Started on the 29th of January 2025, stitching on 32 count Coffee Craft Fabrics Even Weave, so it doesn't have a name, with the called for DMC, and this is where mine is. It is a lovely mottled, light mottled fabric by Megan. And Charlie designed the needle minder for this as our stitch along, start along really, isn't it? Yeah. She's lovely, isn't she? So that's Miss Teapot. Then next is a cotton and twine box. This was the March 2025 design. This box was gifted to me by Cotton and Twine, by Historical Sampler Company. So they give me them every month and then early, so I can kind of share them with you guys. This month's been a bit delayed because they've had to get all the things that need shipping to America shipped a lot earlier. So the advent boxes and so on that wouldn't be normally going out yet have all had to be dealt with and shipped earlier because of the new tariffs and everything that's coming in. I'm sure you know all about it. I shall not be boring you with it. But this design was the March 2025 design, and this was actually a collaboration with Yasmin of Yasmin's Made with Love. So that's a design by her called Hello Spring. So I started this on the 8th of March 2025 on 32 count Northumberland Sampler House linen in sandstone, which is one of my favourite linens by them. And I am using the kit DMC threads. I just swapped out the, I think it came with Ada and I just swapped it out. Oh, look at him. And the needle minder was part of the box. So gorgeous. So that's Hello Spring. Next is Saltbox Fairy Village by Barbie Tingley of Petal Pusher Designs, or Petal Pusher. And it looks like this. I couldn't find my copy. This is my printed working copy. So I stitched the sort of companion piece, which was Saltbox something else. It was like a little Seaside design by the same designer, with Charlie of Charlie Feathers. I bought her the charts as well, and we stitched them together. She has finished, I finished the other one, but she has finished this one as well. Mine is badly placed on the fabric, but it is on. Started on the 20th of March 2025 on 32 count Zygot linen in mushroom or light mocha with the called for DMC. Now, I added this bit of fabric on because I wanted to be able to put it in a nursery, if you can see the outline. And it was just a little bit tight, but there was plenty of margin from where I was going to stitch. So instead of finding the centre of this piece of fabric, the actual fabric, I think I found the centre of the whole thing and then put it in the nerd tube. So my border is absolutely minuscule, but I didn't really think about it until too late. Oh, it's so pretty. So I would say, is that halfway? Yeah, about halfway on there. And I've got two little frames that they should go in one each, if this works out. So we'll see. Next is a design that came out for Nashville. Would it be Nashville this year? Yeah. Ladybug Picnic by Hands On Design. I started it on the 30th of March 2025. And because I loved it as soon as it was shown that it was going to be a release. Absolutely gorgeous. Love that fabric. That fabric is 32 count pomegranate fabric. Pomegranate from Fabrics by Stephanie. That's the actual called for. And then the threads are Weeks Dye Works. Are they all Weeks Dye Works? Yeah, they're all Weeks Dye Works. I'm stitching mine with the chart DMC conversion. So yeah, there was a DMC conversion. That's what I'm using. And I'm stitching mine on a piece of 32 count even weave in a hot pink that Bethany dyed for me specifically for this design. It's really bright like that. It's gorgeous. Absolutely perfect for the ladybug. So yeah, literally got the tiny little flower in on the head. then something else came along, I'm sure. Animal crackers. I wasn't going to do any of these. I was like, I'm just not fussed about them really. I know, sorry. And then Lily came out. I mean, just look at her in a pink dress. So this is from the Animal Cracker series. This is Lily by Stacey Nash Designs. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen them all. I'm stitching mine. I started mine on the 20th of April 2025 on 32 count Zweigart linen in platinum with the called for Weeks Dye Works threads. And Charlie designed a needle minder for it. So yeah, she's got her face and her throat so far. Oh, it's so gorgeous. So it should be quite big really. I think the called for fabric is 36 counts, which would make them a bit smaller, and some people are doing them really tiny. I know Sammy did some, not Lily, but one of them at least, I think on 32 count over 1. She was tiny, this little thing. And she has done a Lily as well, so I can't remember whether hers, what size hers was, but yeah, mine will be quite big really. But I love it. Okay, then we have Borrowed Tales. Now I don't have a picture. Well, I do have a picture, but I can't show you. So when you bought the chart, you could see the whole picture if you wanted to. The designer, who is Quaternion Creations, she sent you the design cover photo of the whole design if you wanted it. It is a stitch along, so the parts are being released month by month, and it's a secret, so I can't show you that picture, and there isn't really a picture of it part by part. If I have got anything, I'll put it in, but I don't think I have. And I have finished part 1, I think. Started on the 30th of April 2025, and I'm stitching mine on 32 count Picture This Plus linen in Legacy. And I'm using DMC 3371, which is the brown, DMC 900, which is the orange, and DMC 581, which is the green. Oh, it's so lovely. So the chart is charted for 3 colours, the orange, the green, and black, I think. I didn't want to use 310, the black, so I thought, well, I'll use a very dark brown. And I'm using the called for orange, which was 900, but I think the called for green was 580, and I'm using 581, so it's only one shade or tone up or down. It's so cute. So it is a lovely, lovely design, but yeah, I just haven't managed to keep up with that at all. But I'll get back to it. Okay, next is the Quacker. So Quacker Sampler by Mikhail at Star Parade Designs. So backstory to this is that Mikhail was at Big Stitch 2024, and he had the finished design of this, and he sat at a table behind me and was showing the ladies on there, and they all went crazy for it, and decided that they were going to start it. I think they started it in the September, so a couple of months later, on something like National Ducky Day or something, with the view that they would finish it by the next Big Stitch. So they'd got basically 2 years almost. I already had the chart, and I had some fabric picked out and some threads, and I'd never got around to starting it. And then I realised it was because I didn't really like the fabric or the threads that I'd chosen, and I just needed to do something else. So I started mine on the 1st of May 2025, and I have worked out what I need to do each month. Oh, I need to take the Q-snap edge off, so that I can have mine finished by Big Stitch 2026 as well. So I'm stitching mine on a piece of 32 count, can't even get it out of the thing, 32 count linen by Fibre on a Whim, and the linen is called Stream. It's like a watery blue, and I'm using Weeks Dye Works Squash is the thread. see if I can hold this up so you can actually see it without it all going everywhere. So we'll get it in this way. So I am using the week's dye works thread, but I'm using long lengths and doing the loop start. So the variegation is there, you can really see it. I'll zoom in on there. But it's more subtle and spread out, so which is what I prefer. So that's what I'm doing. This is now at something just over or around 32%, which is what I needed to be by the end of August for it to stay on track. I've worked out what percentage I need to be at each month. So August really is finished. That doesn't mean I won't stitch on it again this month, but I'm unlikely to, and I don't need to, if you see what I mean. It's so gorgeous. I love the combination of that thread on the linen. Excuse me. Right, let's pop you on there. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Let me just have a little drink. Okay, we're on to the last page of notes now. Not many left to go. Next, I will have to put a photo in of what it will look like when it's finished. This is another start along with Charlie of Charlie Feathers. She's finished. I haven't. And this is by Quaternian Creations and it's called Glimps of Sakura. So this light colour thread, to me on the camera, you can't hardly see it. In real life, it's absolutely fine. And it might show better to you guys. But yeah. I've also got the Glimpse of Midsummer, which I haven't started yet. I think Charlie started it. I need to, but yeah, kind of need to finish this one first. So that is that. I started this on the 2nd of May 2025, and this is 32 count Zygot linen in pastel pink, and I'm using the called for DMC threads. There we go. Next is another cotton and twine box. This was an old box that I bought with my own money from May 2023. And this is the design. I don't know if it's got a name. I think it might have a name now, but I'm not sure what it is. I think you can buy the chart on the Cotton and Twine website, I think as a PDF download. It's really gorgeous. So this was another start along with Charlie. Guess what? She's finished. Started on the 14th of May 2025, and I'm doing mine on 32 count Zygot linen in Vintage Country Mocha, but I'm using the plain side. So Vintage Country Mocha from Zygot is a printed fabric, so one side has got the sort of mottling for the Vintage Country Mocha look, and then the other side is plain. I'm using the plain side, but I am using the kit threads, which are DMC. So I am literally only there. And Charlie's finished. So Charlie made a few changes. If you go and watch her latest video, she shows what she says what she did. I think I did change the flower colours. Can't really tell on there, but I think I did. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. Not very far in comparison to Charlie anyway. Next is Stitching Rules by Primrose Cottage. Again, this went a bit mad. Everybody's seen this, I'm sure. So as soon as I saw this released, I wanted it immediately, and Bethany was like, yes, 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 we've got to have it. And it was only available as a printed chart. And I even messaged Primrose Cottage and said, you know, is it going to be a PDF? Oh, not for a while yet. So I was like, oh, I can't wait. So I looked around and found it on Lindy Stitch's website in America, because it wasn't available here yet. and 2 charts and postage, and Bethany and I just shared it. I mean, it was silly really, because it was a lot of money, but we needed it, and we needed it immediately, right? So we got it, and it arrived in time so that we could start it at the Floss Friends retreat, and we started it on the 16th of May 2025 at the retreat, and literally a week after these had come, they came out on PDF. Yeah. So I'm stitching mine on 32 count Zweigart linen in light ash grey. I think the called for, yeah, is light ash grey, but they've called for 28 count, but mine's 32. And I'm using most of the DMCs. I show you where I'm at. I changed, let me see, their DMC conversion, so it's stitched in colour and cotton threads, but their DMC conversion, I've changed what was the 3810, which was the blue, this kind of dark blue of the birds, to 3809, and they used 783 for the yellow in the flower and here, and I changed mine to 728. Otherwise it is called for DMC conversion from the colour and cotton. I also did, as did Bethany, the spools in satin stitch. They're just charted to be stitched in crosses, but we have both done this spool here and the little white spools all in satin stitch instead. I think they turned out all right. And this is actually a start along or stitch along with lots of people who started it at the retreat or just after. I think we enabled a few people to start it with an aim that we will have it finished by, I think it's October next year. So I think I've got plenty of time, right? If it's October this year, it's not happening. But I think it's October next year. So yeah, stitching rules, absolutely love it. Next is Meant to Be by Little Dove Designs. As soon as I saw this, again, another one, absolutely love it. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. The colours, everything. I love everything about it. So I decided to stitch mine on a 40 count fabric, which I'd used a couple of times before, but not really. So this was my kind of first proper project on 40 count. And this was, I started it on the 31st of May 2025, 40 count Zweigart linen, raw linen, and I'm using the called for DMC. It's so gorgeous already. And I'm really, really into that. I mean, I've got a few things going on 40 count, or want to be going on 40 count. I really, really enjoy it. Gorgeous. Put that way. Next is I do or have done this year a seasonal project for each season. So started on the first day of spring, the first day of summer, and then I will do the first day of autumn and the first day of winter. And I've got 2 things that I'm doing. Spring ones I started and finished within a few days or whatever. But I started these on the first day of, there's 2 coming up. Started them both on the first day of summer, which was the 21st of June 2025. And I haven't worked on them since, so I need to get my finger out really, otherwise they won't be done in the season. So the first one that I'm talking about is this one, which is Mini Sampler Summer. It's a series of little mini samplers, one for each season. You can see the others that will be coming up or have already done. I've already done the spring one. And these are by Curious Carrie Designs. Curious Carrie, and these patterns are in Just Cross Stitch magazine, so they've been in each of the Just Cross Stitch magazines. I'm stitching mine on 32 count Coffee Craft Fabrics even weave, so no name, with mostly the called for DMC. Again, one of those that if I didn't have the exact one, I just picked one that was near to it, and that's where I got to. This was another start along with Charlie. Guess what? She's finished. It's a bit of a theme here, isn't there? People say, do you want to start this with me? And I just can't say no. So I do. And then, yeah, something else comes along and it just stalls. So yeah, not very far on that. But I thought the fabric was quite nice because it's sort of a bit summer sky-y. So yeah. And then the other one that I started on the 21st of June 2025 as a seasonal project is Summer Pillow by Flossabilities. So this is their colourway and their design. I'm not doing mine on that colour, but I'm stitching mine on 32 count Zweigart linen in light blue, and I'm using Weeks Dye Works Topaz, which is a blue. That is it. So when I did the spring one, each of these, like, because they're each like a little box almost, 9 little boxes, right? And I did one every day for 9 days and it was finished. But I clearly didn't with this one. Started it and that was that. And that is that. There's only 3 left. Is that right? There's only 3 left. Next is Strawberry Harvest by Cottage Garden Samplings. And this chart was very kindly gifted to me by Pauline of Sobe Bags. She gifted me a handful of charts and said I could stitch them, give them away. I've given some away already and there's still a few more to do. But this one I absolutely loved and wanted to stitch it. So this was a start along with Sally of Flossie Sews and Grows on Flosstube and Instagram, and another lady on Instagram, Tracy, who is Darth's Knitty Wife. And we started on 1st of July 2025. I think that was the first day of Wimbledon. I think the first day of Wimbledon might have been the 30th of June, the day before, and I couldn't start that day, so I started the next day. But it was a Wimbledon start, strawberries, so on and so on. I'm stitching mine on 40 count linen, which was hand dyed by Bethany to look a bit like, so that looks a bit bluey colour on there, but it's actually Picture This plus Ancient, which isn't blue really, I don't know, but I wanted something that was a bit bluey, skyy colour. So Bethany dyed me this 40 count, and I am using the called for threads, which are DMC and Gentle Arts, and I started in the top left. And I'm loving it. Gorgeous Strawberry Needle Minder by Charlie. Most of my needle minders are by Charlie. They're the best. So yeah, this fabric turned out really gorgeous. She's a bit of a whiz, isn't she? Okay, 2 more. Next one is Pumpkin Patch by Historical Sampler Company. This is their current stitch along, which is almost over. I think it's 4 parts, and I think part 4 might come out tomorrow. I'm not up to date. This was the kit and gift box that went with it was kindly gifted to me by Historical Sampler Company. This was started on the 7th of July 2025, and I'm using the kit fabric and the kit threads. The needle minder also came with the kit and gift box. So part 1 is complete, which was this sort of top bit up to the sort of there. And then part 2 was this sort of bordery bit. And then I'm guessing that's like a spider web. And I did bring down the black and white border. My house is a little bit different. I will have put a picture in because I don't have a cover photo. I used the yellow that is this yellow in the windows, so it looks like the lights are on. And I used one of the lightest green out of the sort of branches greenery there for the door, just to give it a little bit of colour. I don't think the windows were stitched at all, and I think the door was white. And that's the offending back that I stitched the whole of in the complete wrong place because I was watching football and didn't concentrate. I had to rip it all out. Because it's like in the middle, you couldn't fudge it. So yeah. So yeah, not caught up with that, which is bad. And WIP number 52 is Books Are Magic by Counting Puddles. This is a start along with Bethany. She's not finished, so it's not bad. Bethany and I really love this. We started it on the 18th of July 2025 when I was down there in Bedfordshire for the weekend with Morgan and Bethany. So their birthdays are either side of that. So we kind of went down for the weekend and did a few things together. And then, yeah, Bethany and I had what was a slightly belated for her birthday start on this. And I'm stitching mine on the called for 32 count linen by Be Stitch Me called Scotsman. I bought the even weave as well when I bought this because it had to come over from America, and Bethany is doing hers on the piece of even weave that I got and using the called for DMC. That's about accurate for that fabric. It's absolutely gorgeous, really gorgeous. And I thought, it's quite dark, am I going to struggle? But I haven't. So I started in the centre with the sort of little flowers and things that are coming out of the open book. Bethany started at the bottom, so it's nice to see, when you see hers, you'll see the difference of where we're at. So yeah, gorgeous needle minder, which is similar to the design that I asked Charlie to make, one each for me and Bethany. So yeah, that's it. 52 whips that I need to get back to. I love this one. I need to get back to it. I hope I haven't said that for every single one. I think really there's only Moo, the cow. There's only really the two bothy thread ones. Well, the cow one a little bit more that I'm not like desperate to get back to because of all the brown and it's very boring and I find the charts hard to follow. And then the other bothy thread one, the sheep one, Green Pastures, I do love that and want to get back to it, but every time I think about it, I think about the chart and I just don't want to stitch on it. So, and then apart from those ones and the sampler garden that I'm going to finish that sort of triangle bit as it is, I do want to finish these. So my husband would say, well, if you don't start anything else and just get on with them, then you'll get them finished, won't you? Things like that, you know, very negative. Just don't need that negativity in your life, do you? So we just snooze him. And yeah. That is it. There's nothing else to say today, really. I will be back with a regular Flosstube. I think it will be 3 weeks. So I'm away next weekend for a few days, going down to stay with Morgan and Bethany. Aaron, my husband, is off to the Isle of Man for the Manx Grand Prix. He's going on his motorcycle, packing it all up and camping over there. So yeah, so I thought I'd have a few days away with Morgan and Bethany. And I will go out for, I think I'm going out for lunch with a friend on one day and stuff like that. So it'll be really good. And then we've got other bits and pieces coming up in September. We're away later in September. So it made sense for me to do my next one in about 3 weeks time. I think it's about the 7th-ish. And then from there, yeah, things will get back to a little bit more like 2 weeks, hopefully. So that is my mid-year for me WIP parade, 52 whips. If you only watch my WIP parades, the next one you see, let's see what those numbers look like then. But for now, happy stitching everyone. Bye.